We are live. Okay, so guys, I'm really sorry about that. We had an issue with one of the cords getting disconnected. These sorts of technical difficulties do happen. So welcome back to our Edge Live Q&A that we do every Friday at noon Pacific time. We have a very big one today. I am Kylan Hurt. I'm one of the team members. I'm a front-end developer, and next to me is our chief architect, none other than Mr. William Swanson.
Howdy.
How's it going? Nice Friday, huh?
It is a good Friday.
Yeah, and it's especially good because we were not able to do a live Q&A last week. And last Thursday, was a very big week for the Edge team because we had a major release. We had a major release, and among other things, the part that I like the most because I am I like to discover new cryptocurrencies, is that we added support for XRP, some people call it Ripple, XRP, and also Monero, XMR. So those are two cryptocurrencies that are known. They're known very well for having big and very enthusiastic communities. So for us to be able to add that is great. I will say myself, I am a big Monero enthusiast. If it weren't summer, 75 degrees, I would be wearing that. I would be wearing that right now. But unfortunately, I would probably be sweating bullets. So what were your thoughts on the release, William? And what are some of the other details that were added to this release?
So, I mean, obviously the headliner feature is the new currency.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but are we the first smartphone wallet to have support for those particular currencies?
I can't. It seems like we might be for Ripple. I know for Monero, we are technically not the first smartphone mobile app to have it, but we are the first major one because the other ones really only support Monero. So obviously we are
first multi-currency wallet.
Right, first multi-currency wallet to support. So that's very big. That's very big. I'm really excited about that. Are you familiar with some of the other? Can you share some of the other features that we added?
Well, besides those two currencies, I think we also added Qtum.
Qtum. Oh, that's right. We had other currencies.
Yes. Not to forget those. And we also added sweeping private keys for Bitcoin. So a lot of Bitcoin I think is kind of a unique position because it's sort of the on-ramp and the off-ramp for the crypto world. So if I want to get into Monero, I may not be able to buy Monero directly from an ATM machine, but I can certainly buy Bitcoin because there are lots of Bitcoin ATM machines. So if I buy Bitcoin, I can then shapeshift into Monero using our app. Well, one common way ATMs do this is they print out a barcode that has Bitcoin on it. And so our app now has the ability to slurp those in, and then you can then do whatever you want with that Bitcoin.
Yeah, and so there's some other major additions as well.
Well, it's a super boring feature, but we have QuickBooks export.
We have a certain accountant on our team who's been really excited about being able to export files to QuickBooks so that they can take care of our
Well, this is actually
our bookkeeping.
A very important feature because
okay.
Well, that's one of the major selling points or features of Airbits, and now Edge has this as well because if you're doing crypto and you want to be on the level by the book, at the end of the year, you're supposed to report that to the United States tax authorities.
Right.
Well, how are you going to do that if you've got 1 million transactions in a smartphone wallet and you have no idea what they are? How do you balance that? You need some way to tag the transactions as you do them. So I use the Bitcoin to buy coffee or whatever. Well, you're not supposed to use Bitcoin for that. But anyway, you use some currency to buy coffee or whatever. And then you put notes onto it saying, this is a purchase on this date and for this fiat amount, or I sold it for this amount on that date, or I shape-shifted it or whatever. And at the end of the year, you simply export that data either into QuickBooks or as a CSV, which we also support. And now you have everything you need to do your taxes, or give it to your accountant and let them do your taxes, honestly. Right.
And for those of you wondering, I mean, when it comes to cryptocurrency, in order to keep your books, it has been one heck of a challenge, and that's to put it lightly, right?
And even if you're not necessarily in the United States jurisdiction where you have to pay United States taxes, if you're a business using crypto for your business, you need to be able to account for what you're doing. I mean, if you have a corporate credit card, you give it to your employees and say, hey, take this and go buy supplies for the office. You know what happened because all those transactions are on the credit card. But with crypto, if you give your employees a wallet and say, hey, go buy office supplies, you don't know what happened. But with Edge, even as a business in a non-tax jurisdiction, you can still use that for your internal accounting.
Right. Yeah. So it was a very big release. For those of you who want to enjoy the features that were added for that release, if you're not already holding our Edge wallet, it is available on both iOS and Android. And we highly recommend that you go to our website, which is edge.app. So it's no longer edgesecure.co. You can still go to that and it will forward to edge.app, but edge.app is the easiest way to find it and download it. And in fact, if you want to download it directly because you don't like going through the Play Store or the iTunes Store, you can actually, or at least on Android, you can go to edge.app/app in order to download it. So if you want to enjoy those features, that's the best way to do it. We worked hard on those features, and we want you guys to be able to enjoy it. Now, with that said, there were some questions about Monero and XMR, and as the Monero enthusiast here, I'll go ahead and go over those because these are features and these are questions that I originally had, and these are features that I would like added. The first is, what is a Monero payment ID? What's an XMR payment ID? Because this has caused some confusion. And essentially, when we're talking about Monero, it is a privacy coin. And that means that there are, how would I say this? The blockchain tends to be very obfuscated, which makes it really hard for people to tell who's sending them a transaction, where it's coming from. So what happens is when you include a payment ID, that helps you keep track of which payment it was. And you can share that payment ID with the person that you are sending Monero to. That way, when he receives a transaction, he is able, or they are able to make sure that it is in fact coming from you. Because the last thing you want is to send someone money. Maybe you're sending someone $20, but their other friend is sending them $20. You want to be able to say, hey, no, this one with $20 has the payment ID that I have. So that means I can prove essentially that it is my transaction.
I think we should actually kind of back up here a little bit.
Okay.
Because in the Edge wallet, there's multiple different types of currencies.
Okay.
There are many currencies like Bitcoin, Litecoin. We don't have Dogecoin yet, but that'd be nice. Qtum and so forth, where you have multiple addresses. So every time you receive money, we actually show a fresh barcode.
Right.
So that one wallet has a constantly changing barcode. So every payment is a new address that's uniquely identifiable. There's other currencies like Ethereum,
right,
Monero,
right,
and Ripple, where you have a single address, one address that the barcode never ever changes no matter what happens. And what that means is, for those, you don't know who the money came from.
Okay.
And so that's why you need payment IDs on both Ripple and on Monero.
Okay. And then one of the other features for Monero that a lot of people were talking about is that if they really want to maximize the amount of privacy that they're able to get, right now the nodes are pointing toward my Monero, their Electrum nodes, and that's very convenient. But a lot of people, if you want to maximize the amount of privacy that you're able to get, they want to be able to run their own full node, maybe on their computer at home. They want the ability to point the node, their Monero wallet to their own full node. And for those of you at home wondering about that, that is a feature that we are actively working on. I will be working on the user interface. Some of our, how would I say it? Some of our other developers, core devs and plugin developers are working on making that happen on the core and plugin side. So hopefully soon we'll be able to give you an actual date of when that feature will be added, because I'm very excited about that. I am a privacy advocate, and in general at Edge, we are privacy advocates. We want you to be able to do what you want with your own money, and we want you to be able to have privacy doing it. Okay, so one of the next questions that we had, I know on Twitter we had a poll, so there were different people asking a lot of different things. And the next, actually this one got, let's see here, 27% of the vote, and this was for new coins. Which new coins will we be adding at Edge? So me and William, we kind of went over some of the, let's say, the top 50 coins in CoinMarketCap. If we go through it, let's see, if we go through some of them, Bitcoin, we already have it. Ethereum, we already have it. XRP, we already have it. Bitcoin Cash, we already have it. EOS, should we go over EOS?
I think EOS is interesting.
Right.
It's very different from existing currencies. We don't have, at the moment, any proof of stake coins in our wallet right now.
Right.
So that's different. The whole blockchain is a different structure. They've got all kinds of weird stuff going on. So if we did implement it, it would be a fairly large project.
Oh, yeah. I think yes.
But on the other hand, it's another one of those currencies where you have the same address, so the address never changes. So at least that part's easiest.
Right. Yeah, I should mention that I am a bit of an EOS enthusiast. The main blockchain launched within the last few weeks, and it has had quite a few stumbling blocks.
There's been some controversy on that chain.
Yeah, I'm being as optimistic as I can. Some questions about the Constitution, some questions about is it going to be more immutable or is it going to be mutable? What happens when there are disputes? So, and also another more complicated part of a proof of stake coin is that people want to be able to stake their coins. They want to be able to do stuff with it. For example, with EOS, you can vote for block producers. So that means that if we did support something like EOS in our wallet, we could support it so that you could just hold it there. But most EOS holders actually, they want to be able to do voting and staking, which means that there are additional user interfaces that we'll have to be able to do, and also more functionality, even on the core and plugin side. But hypothetically, if that would be our first proof of stake coin, hopefully subsequent proof of stake coins would have similar features that hopefully we would be able to reuse some of the code, and we would have some familiarity going forward.
So I have a question about staking on EOS.
Right.
I know on Decred you have to have like a minimum of like 80 DCR, which is like some crazy amount of thousands of dollars in order to do staking. Is there any minimum?
I don't think so. If there is, it's really small. So from what I saw, it did not seem like there was. I'll be honest, I have enough EOS where I'm comfortably past any minimum that they would have. I'm not saying I'm rich. The price of EOS is not that high right now and continues to go down like most crypto right now. But I did not see a minimum. But the ecosystem for EOS is really growing, but a lot of it's more like, how would I say it? Native desktop or laptop applications, because sometimes you need a lot of space for some of the stuff they're doing. You're like, you have this, you want to stake this, you're voting for this, you can vote for multiple of them. And so there's a whole ecosystem being built there, and it's being built fast, and there are some hiccups.
So
but
I can think of a very powerful reason why Edge might want to support EOS. Is because a lot of these things are decentralized applications, and decentralized applications need to store user credentials. And so if we did have EOS support, even just for storing, not for doing anything fancy, then you could use Edge to log into these other apps that are being built on the EOS platform, and thereby have your funds there and available to shapeshift through Edge. Just, I have money in my betting app, and there it is in my phone, and I can just do whatever I want with it.
Right, and I'm trying to think if there's a staking period with EOS too, because sometimes I don't know if it's one where you can just boom, bring it right out. The one thing that would be a challenge is with our Edge login. Our Edge login is great, but on something like EOS, how do I say it? There's a chance that a lot of the decentralized applications may try to have their own wallet. I guess we could still still come into that though.
So for instance, one of our partners, Augur, they're going to be launching soon. They have an app where you can log in using multiple methods, and one of the methods is Edge. And so when you log in using Edge, all your rep tokens that you got by trading on their platform, doing predictions and so forth, show up in your phone. So if I want to reload my rep, I want to buy more, I can just go shapeshift my, some Bitcoin into that. Or if I've made a lot of money in the Augur markets, I can cash out. It's all in the phone and it's on their app. So if somebody built something like an Augur or any kind of app on EOS and they used Edge login, we could maybe provide that same kind of experience if we implemented EOS.
Right. Yeah. I think we'll have to look into a lot of the technical details, because definitely decentralized applications are a big area that we are targeting at Edge. We give you that familiar username and password experience that not too many other wallets give you, and I think that's definitely catching on. Without going into too many specifics, our analytics that we are seeing, they are starting to pick up, and I think I'm very excited about that, because that means that people are enjoying the application. And my experience this is me being as unbiased as possible, is that the app is becoming very easy to use, and it looks good. So if you guys don't already own it or have it on your smartphone, go ahead and give it a whirl. Just give it a try, see what you think.
So next coins, Litecoin, we've got Stellar. We might, now that we have XRP, we might consider Stellar.
Right.
IOTA, I don't think IOTA makes a lot of sense, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Tron, they just launched their main net, I think, on May 30th. So I think we're holding back a little bit just to see how that goes. One of the issues is their white paper was written in Chinese, so it's kind of hard. We're keeping an eye on that one. Okay, Monero, already have it. Dash, already have it. Neo.
But I haven't heard many people talking about Neo.
Yeah, I haven't. There were questions about how centralized it was. I know they're working on decentralizing it, which is more what we're looking for. I think maybe if a lot of tokens start to get built on Neo, then there becomes more of a chance that we will add it. Binance Coin, is that an ERC20? I think it's ERC20.
Ethereum Classic.
Ethereum Classic. There you go.
So this is one that we are working on, actually. And the way we're working on it, the story behind it is actually kind of interesting because right now, Edge Wallet talks to the Ethereum blockchain using some servers that give us information about what blocks have been found and what transactions are in those blocks. Those servers are only available for Ethereum main chain. They're not available for Ethereum Classic. So if we wanted to implement Ethereum Classic, we need to have open source software that we can just spin up ourselves and connect it to the Ethereum Classic chain. So we're writing that. We're actually working on a project called Indy, which is an indexing database for the Ethereum blockchain. So it'll connect to your Ethereum node, full node, figure out what all the transactions are, index them by address, and then allow our wallet to make queries to it. So once we finish that project, we'll be able to actually have I think the world's first open source, fully indexed blockchain server for Ethereum, where you can just run it on a server.
Ethereum Classic.
Any Ethereum, both Ethereums.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can run it, and it'll basically do the same thing that an Electrum server does for Bitcoin, where you can just connect to it and ask it queries, and it'll just give you the information back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's see here what else we got. Gosh, I've lost my Ethereum Cloud VeChain. That's still a little bit untested.
A lot of ERC20 tokens on this whole thing.
NEM has
Zcash. We have Qtum.
Qtum, yes. Okay, so what do you think of Zcash? I love privacy, but it's my understanding that Zcash it's a bit resource intensive.
So I think the last time I was on the show, I was talking about how you do privacy coins. And what you do is you have the amount obscured by using some crazy elliptic curve math. And as part of that math, you need to prove that numbers are positive, which turns out to be incredibly difficult.
You need what? That's a range proof.
And I believe the Zcash for their range proofs uses something called a ZK snark.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now a snark is very efficient. It's very small and compact, but it takes a heck of a lot of computing power to generate one of these things. Like your full desktop, laptop computer would take a minute to send a transaction, which means that on a smartphone, it's going to take like 10 minutes to send a transaction.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do it, and we're waiting for a more optimal version of the ZK snark.
So I'm going to ask a question. It might be too technical because you're not a Zcash developer, but the ZK snark part of it, the processing, does it need to know the input data in order to do that to do that?
Right. Yes, it needs to know the secrets.
So you can't have it do the work before you come up with the amount and the.
No. It's a digital signature basically.
Okay. So yeah, that's. But it's something we're interested in. We enjoy privacy here. We are privacy advocates, so we're always keeping an eye out for privacy coins that we can get to work. Let's see here. Decred.
We've talked to Decred. I think I'm in their Slack channel, but. We tried to get them to do it because they have governance, they have money, they have developers. I don't know what the status of that project is.
Right.
So they may come through. They may surprise us, be like, hey, we finished it, and then we'd have it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't, and then we end up doing it ourselves.
Yeah. One thing you guys have to remember is that we're still a small team. We don't have unlimited resources here, so that we can't hire 100 people and give them all one currency to work on. It's up to us to get it done, and we work our butts off because we know that we want our users to be able to hold as many coins as possible right in the palm of their hand and feel secure and comfortable, and that they can use it with a wallet that is very usable and that is user friendly. So if we go through here, there's lots of ERC20 tokens. We support them all.
What about the Bitcoin forks? Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, sort of the minority forks?
Well, the good thing about Bitcoin forks is that they tend not to have too many changes in their code between Bitcoin and them, which makes them relatively easy for us to support. The question is how much community support or demand do we have for those coins? So if you like Bitcoin Private, Bitcoin Gold, stuff like that, go ahead and let us know on Twitter. I think it's Edge Secure. That's probably the easiest way to get into contact with us. To say, hey, do you mind adding whatever the coin is? That way we can kind of get an idea. We can get a gauge for what the users are looking for. Because ultimately, what we are trying to do is we are trying to satisfy our users, right? That is how our business works. So the only way we can do that is if we know what you guys like. So please feel free to express your wants, desires, your demands as it relates to your cryptocurrency wallets. Okay, so yeah, I see a bunch of ERC20 tokens, 0x. I like 0x. So Nano is one where me and William specifically have done quite a bit of research. We did it kind of just to explore how the tech works.
So you have a podcast. Besides working for Edge, you also have a podcast about crypto. And on that podcast, we had done an episode where we actually talked about Nano and kind of tore apart the white paper and everything.
We tore it apart. No, we analyzed it and we had opinions. I was relatively bullish on it. It's a very intriguing project, one that doesn't look at, how would I say it? It looks at on-chain. It doesn't look at on-chain scaling or how would I say, second layer scaling. It has a completely different way of looking at it. Very experimental. In my opinion, it's a very exciting project, and I'm keeping a close eye on it.
I don't think tear apart is probably the wrong word. Maybe what I meant is dug into, or like tore the paper off of it.
I corrected you. Our analysis was relatively bullish and optimistic about it. So what do you think? The integration of something like Nano?
The main problem is that in order to really have a good, trustless Nano experience, you kind of have to run a full node.
Okay.
They don't have an SPV.
Your own full node, or someone's got to run a full node.
So if Edge were to implement Nano into our smartphone wallet, it would be trusting a server that has the full fire hose of transactions that's validating everything.
Okay.
But the Nano white paper does explain that is a valid mode of operation, and they say, no, you can trust these people for various economic reasons that they lay out. So if you buy the premise that Nano's built on, then actually, we could do it. We could actually have a smartphone wallet for it.
Okay, cool. So let's see here.
Dogecoin.
Much integration. Wow.
There's so much going on in the crypto space. Everybody's at each other's throats. You have things like the Bitcoin Cash war.
Oh yeah.
The Stellar versus XRP war. Everybody's after everybody else.
It's
right?
lots of drama.
Lots of drama. Lots of pain and suffering and anger and trolling. And it's just sometimes it's nice just to step back and say, you know what? This is all for.
Let's enjoy ourselves, right? Let's enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, let's just do something dumb and not worry about it for once.
Right.
And it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna look at some funny memes and laugh and know it's dumb, and that's okay, because that's what it's for.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what is the how would I say this? What is the progress with Dogecoin? Because I know we've talked a lot about it, but there are some hurdles that need to be overcome when it comes to integrating Dogecoin.
So a smartphone wallet like Edge cannot run a full node on the phone. I mean, it takes too much resources. So if we wanted to implement a coin, we need a server of some kind that serves up the coin. And the issue is right now, Dogecoin doesn't have any Electrum servers that we can find at all.
Right.
So if we want to do Dogecoin in our app, we're going to have to spin up our own Electrum servers, which is not difficult. It just means going and renting some server on some cloud hosting platform and installing some software and doing it. It's more work.
Right. So Dogecoin I feel like we are a decent ways into it. There are some specific steps that we need to take in order to do it. But we would like to get it done relatively soon. That way we can all have a good laugh and store our Dogecoin in Edge wallet.
Well, one thing we could do if we put Dogecoin in the wallet, would we put memes in, have Easter eggs inside if you have Dogecoin, like Sheebays pop up on screen or something.
Right.
I don't think we're going to do anything fancy like that, but it would be funny if we did. I think that would be fun.
Right, absolutely. So I think that gives you an idea. I think we went through at least the top 50 coins there, and let you know kind of where we are with them. And all of the ERC20 tokens, in case you didn't already know, you can store all of them. All you need to know is the contract address, the number of decimal places, and you are able to store those coins in Edge Wallet today. Okay, so next question we had, and I think this one was from Twitter, was do you have plans to provide a Visa debit card such as Shift to access funds in Edge wallets? I already know the answer to this. Do you want to take it? No, I'll let you take it.
No.
Yeah, the answer is no. Yeah, the answer is no.
Well, so here's our position. We are a software company. We make software that you install on your phone and that it does things on your phone on your behalf. You're the user, and it's just you're responsible for it. We, therefore, cannot handle your money. We can't touch your money. We can't know what your balances are. We can't do any sort of financial services because we're not a bank. We're not licensed in that way.
Right.
We're just software.
Right.
So if we wanted to put a debit card in, what we would do is we'd have to find another company that is a bank that does have that banking relationship and then partner with them. So you could have a situation where you load the wallet, the funds into the wallet, transfer them to the debit card, and it all just works.
Right.
But it wouldn't be us doing it.
Right. Yeah. In general, at Edge, we are privacy advocates, and we want you to be able to do whatever you want with your money, which means that we don't want your personal data in general. Us ourselves, we don't want to know your name. We don't want to know your phone number. We don't want to know your birth date. We don't want to see copies of your driver's license. The banks, they can deal with that, but in general, that's not what we're doing here. That's not what we're trying to do here. Okay, so the next question, I believe this also was on Twitter. They were wondering, and maybe Paul's a little bit better to answer this one, but unfortunately he's out of town. He's jet setting, giving speeches, spreading the good word about cryptocurrency in general. The question is the roadmap for Edge. What is the roadmap going forward for Edge?
I mean, so I would say we don't have so much a long-term roadmap, but we have our wish lists, a long wish list of features that we'd like to implement.
Right.
And then what we'll do is every month we'll do a sprint where we vote on what features we think are the most important based on customer feedback. And then based on that vote, we focus and prioritize on those features for that month.
Right.
So I think that long-term speaking, our roadmap is to be the best wallet we can be. And what that means depends on what you, our customers, want us to be and what you ask for and what we can provide to you to make that a good experience. That's kind of the one half of our company. The other half of our company is the SDK.
Right.
And, we are continuing to grow that. We're continuing to sign on new partners, and we want to be basically, when you think you're going to log into a decentralized application, the default thing you reach for is just scan that barcode and log in with Edge, and it's super simple, right? We want to make that as easy as possible to use all these decentralized applications and be a participant in this new economy that's being built.
Right. Single sign on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's really where I think our main focus is. We need to have a killer wallet so that we have lots of customers, so that when DApps integrate our technology, they have a user base of millions ready to just log into their app with no additional effort. They don't have to create an account or do anything. So it's kind of like you need to have both.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's also, I'm starting to work on some side projects as well that I think are very exciting. I'm not going to go into them just yet, but probably within the next month or two, I believe that we will start being able to make announcements as long as I'm able to get the stuff done that I think I can get done. But I think right now some of that information is very sensitive. Do you think that's enough on the roadmap?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think what was basically the summary of the roadmap is we're already on the path.
Right.
We're just making a kick-ass app and a kick-ass SDK and just bringing that forward.
Yeah, we're moving things forward as quickly as we can. And like you said, we are trying to become a single sign-on for decentralized applications, and more of those are popping up. And as William alluded to, we do have... It's nice working at Edge, and I'm not just saying that because our boss might be watching, but we have a process where roughly every month we go through, we have a team meeting, we decide what do we want. We have a democratic system governance, if you will. You're probably familiar with that term, where we decide, okay, who wants what, we propose what different people want, then we have a voting process. So if there's something specific that you like, feel free to hit up any of the team members on Edge, because we all make ourselves available to people. One of our actual core values is community. There is innovation, there is community, and then there is empowerment. Those are our three core values here at Edge. So community is one of them. We want to hear what you guys have to say. We want to interact with you, because that's how we're able to keep our finger on the pulse of the industry, and that's the sort of thing that we need to be doing if we are going to become a leader within the industry, and just in general help push cryptocurrency forward. Because Lord knows in 2018 it's had some setbacks, so instead of complaining about it here at Edge, we are busy building the future, building improvements, because we want this industry to keep on moving forward as quickly as possible, so that we can empower ourselves and our users.
And that's why we do these podcasts.
That is absolutely why we do these podcasts. Now, I feel like I do have to make one clarification earlier when I was talking about being able to point to your full node on Monero. That's not something that we're just looking to implement for Monero. We are actually going to be adding that feature to all currencies. So if you're running a Bitcoin node and you want to point it at point your Edge wallet Bitcoin, your Edge Bitcoin wallet at your full Bitcoin node, we're making it so that you are able to do that for all the currencies that we support, because in general that gives you more control over your money. And what did I say? One of our core values is empowerment. So we are trying to empower our users. All right. Got any more? I think
we're at 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, we had a little bit of a slip up earlier. Okay, so I guess we'll end it here. So for those of you who have more questions and comments during the course of the week, feel free to send us maybe the best thing to do is probably to tweet at us at Edge Secure on Twitter. Also, if you go to our website, it's edge.app. That's another way to get in contact with us. Also on Facebook, if you look up Edge, we are there. Like I said, if you haven't taken a look at the new version of our app, I highly recommend that you do, because I think it is by far the best version. It is a leap forward from our previous versions, and I'm not just saying this because I'm part of the team, but I'm very happy and very proud of the work that we've done.
Oh, you just said something in passing that completely slipped my memory.
Go on.
Our new domain name.
Edge.app.
Edge.app, right? That is like the best domain name ever. It's super short.
We were sick of edgesecure.co. It's a mouthful, and Edge.app very concisely lets users know what we do. Our core product is an app, so we are happy to have that domain. It's quick, it's succinct, it's easy to remember. So if you want information about Edge, feel free to go to edge.app. Tell people if they want to find out more, edge.app. On a side note, we are looking to hire. So if you are a JavaScript developer with familiarity with Node and NPM, that sort of stuff, and also familiar with Python, please send us an email. Hit us up on Twitter. We have been looking for someone to join our team, and this person could play a pivotal role, and it could be you. It doesn't hurt to get into contact with us. I like our team, and I think if you're out there and you have those skill sets, I have a feeling if you joined our team that you would find that you would quite enjoy it as well.
All right.
All right, so I think that's it for this Friday's Q&A. We are here every Friday, or at least we try to be here every Friday. We mix it up every time. During the course of the week, if you have questions or comments, feel free to contact us. That way we can get to your questions and comments the next episode that we have, which should be next Friday. So until then, this is Kylan Hurt and William Swanson and the rest of the Edge team. Till next week, guys.
See you then.